Iceland is unique. Iceland is a country with people that can do everything.
Crazy. Icelandic people are crazy. It's simple. We are very demanding and we have no limitations of if we want something, we can achieve it.
Iceland is internal power, internal strength. You can go on into low odds and think that you can come out victorious. That's the internal power of Iceland.
Iceland is my homeland. With its bad sides and good sides, it is my country.
Iceland is the best country in the world.
Iceland is clean, healthy, and pure.
Iceland is duglegur. You don't give up. You keep at it. You continue to struggle.
Ísland er frábært. Ísland er geðveikt.
What is Iceland? Yeah. What is Iceland?
I can't help you there.
Yeah, wonderful country.
Everybody will be watching and everybody will be supporting Iceland.
Iceland and Germany in the final. I think so.
Seeing the European Cup, we can basically do anything, so everything is possible.
We can tell ourselves, well, we did this once, we can easily do it again. In Russia, we have the best teams in the world, and it just so happens that Iceland is one of them.
Football was always like the mother of all sports in Iceland. And for our generation, we used to play it outside every day in the cold winter,
on gravel
pitches and frozen gravel pitches.
It's a very popular thing, but more popular right now than ever, that's for sure. People really like to see the national team do well. So I think both the women's team and the men's team are doing very well right now. So that is, of course, I think a big factor in this.
It was always a big games, you know, when the Icelandic national team, but the results weren't there, so it was different. The early days we were just, if we got a draw, then everybody was like a victory to the whole Icelanders. But these guys who are playing now, it's much more fun when the results are coming in and we are charging to European Cup and World Cup.
We were celebrating 1-1 draw against the big teams and celebrating like we won the World Cup.
I didn't expect that we would go to France, but it was just unbelievable because of to see Iceland, this small nation, getting to the finals of this big tournament. It was just unbelievable. I just really loved it.
The final whistle at the Iceland-England game is uppermost in my mind. The joy, the realization that we had beaten one of the biggest nations in football. We were there in the stands, we laughed and we cried and we hugged each other, people who knew each other, people who did not know each other, and yeah, I'll never forget that moment.
I just remember the streets emptied while the game was on. No one was out. And then you can just hear shouting and screaming from different houses, and it was quite a special evening. For me, it's just such a conversation opener because I travel quite a lot, and wherever I go, they now know Iceland.
I was in London now from like 2 months ago, and they were like asking me to do the Viking clap in the restaurant in the breakfast. So I think yes, it's an opener. Yes, definitely.
And people sometimes ask me, how come Iceland, this tiny nation of 350,000 people, has a team at the men's World Cup in Russia now? I mean, it's just unbelievable, imaginable, etc., etc. And you know, you're happy to hear this, but at the end of the day, the fact of the matter is that in Russia, we have the best teams in the world, and it just so happens that Iceland is one of them.
It was a distant dream, obviously, to be a part of World Cup. You've seen all the competitions over the years, and memories are strong. But probably if I would have told you that when I was 14, 15, you would have probably laughed at me. Being at the World Cup for this country is phenomenal.
In 2006, I went with my friend to Germany, to the World Cup, to see all the best teams play. And I went to Brazil, Croatia, it was in Berlin, great evening. And I was just thinking, unbelievable to be here. And now, thinking that I'm going to the World Cup to see Iceland, it's just unbelievable. I can't believe it. I still can't believe it.
So normally all coaches in Iceland have another job, and I happen to be a dentist. It is pretty strange that a dentist would be a coach, because the pay you get for being a dentist is so much higher than being a coach. My mother often said that, why are you doing this football thing? But that's my passion, has always been my passion.
Probably the most famous dentist in the whole world, because everybody speaks about that he was is actually practicing dentist also with the coaching, but well, he was not the best of the footballers for himself, but he went to UFA and was the best grades when he was graduating. It shouldn't be a surprise now that he's so good at coaching.
He's very calm, positive, very organised. He hasn't changed a lot of things over the last few years. He's improved a few things, which has been good. But yeah, he's very good. It's been an upcoming progress for Iceland. A lot of hard work towards football, and the team is definitely doing the right things, and the staff and the whole federation. So really pleased with the progress. If we come towards this tournament in a positive attitude and like we've always been, then yeah, anything is possible in football. Of course, I would have liked an easier group. I think it is one of the toughest groups in the competition. But once you're there, you know you're not going to have easy games. And you probably want to be playing the best teams and the best players. So looking forward to, we know it's going to be very tough.
We said when we were going for the draw, it would be fantastic to have one of the big nations. You know, if you think about the World Cup, you think Germany, Argentina, Brazil. For Iceland to play Argentina in the opening game, the first game that Iceland plays in the World Cup final, is just, we've said it's kind of romantic, but it's still just a football game. So we think we have a chance of beating them, but we will see.
One of our famous uncle phoned me and asked me to tell Heimir that if we want to beat Argentina, he only has to get the ball off Messi. But if he can't get the ball off Messi, Messi will beat them, he said. So I rang Heimir to tell him, and Heimir said, oh, that's a good advice.
You think every coach, everywhere in the world, is asking himself this question. And sadly, nobody has found the formula to stop him. We always do the things in the same manner in the Icelandic squad. We do it collectively and together. So I wouldn't ask no player to, you take care of Messi. That would be bound to fail. We will try to do it together and collectively and minimize the damage he can do to us. Icelanders normally are an optimistic people, but they're also realistic about the group we are in, and the World Cup is of course a bigger stage than the Euros. So everybody wants us to win, everybody will expect us to win, but I don't think no head will be chopped if we don't.
If we can get a good start in the group, then anything is possible, but it's going to be very tough. If we were to qualify through to the final 16, I think that would be probably a better achievement than actually qualifying for the World Cup.
3, 4, 5, 7 games in Russia in June, July doesn't make Icelandic football stand and fall. It's a long journey. And we've been doing consistently well now for about 4 years. And why should it stop in Russia?
We have 8 indoor halls now, and they're all over the country, so everywhere you can get inside, because the Icelandic winter is not a nice one. The first one was built in 2000 in Keflavík, where the airport is, and this one was built in 2002 and has been the mainstay of our club ever since.
The facilities we got, as you can see, are really, really good, and we can train like all year long. In Iceland, we have actually professional coaches training the kids from like 5 years old. I think that has set the mark for Iceland and why we are getting better and better every year.
The infrastructure has been there, but I think around 2000 when we started to make the clubs educate all their coaches. That had a big impact. The FA said you will not be allowed to play in the Premier League even if you don't have a educated coach for the under 10s or under 6 or whatever. It was also a boost in facilities. We have, of course, as you know, hot water, so we can heat up the artificial pitches, but we also had some indoor halls.
The idea behind this is that in today's world, it is imperative that we get children to adopt a healthy lifestyle. Sports is essentially that. We need to get the kids away from their computers and mobile phones and Fortnite and what have you. So investment in sports is an investment in good health. But it's imperative at the same time that it will be a pleasurable experience. Sports must be fun. The achievements, they will come if it is fun. So that is why I think the government and the authorities decided to invest in sports. It makes sense.
Local government funding is building the houses and the pitches, and they're also supporting the families for several years now, and it's ever increasing the amount of money. When the local government gives parents little money, we tend to hire the training fee. That means the coaches get a little bit better money, and then you can get better coaches, and so I think it has an overall benefit. We have real technical talent compared to Iceland in the early days, but we might miss the grit of the older generation because they had to run in the snow, train on gravel pitches in February. These guys don't have that. They have artificial, even though it's outside, it's with heat, under heat, so it's not the same. That's very difficult to teach grit because it's a very fine line how to put people in difficult situations that you don't break, but only bend and then bounce back. So it's a fine line.
In adversity we are really good, but I think it's down to the selection. I think we more often select characters than talented players. We would choose a central defender who's a great character and try to make him a good footballer. So it's totally different. The players coming up are technically better, but we still can't forget that we have characters that are good, old-fashioned defenders. We need to keep them in.
It's something that we have to be aware of, that with the success we can lose our way with the best facilities that you can get in the indoor thing, the artificial thing. You maybe are losing the character of being a footballer in the cold, in the wind, so you have to be tough to play football. Now it's maybe getting too easy, too soft. So we have to be aware of it, the coaches, and especially the youth coaches, that we should praise certain values that you have to have if you are an Icelandic national team player. Values like hard work, leadership abilities, and so on. So maybe we have to think a little bit different, especially in the future, because we cannot afford to lose the mentality and the character in players.
We turn our smallness into strength. Here in Iceland, chances are that out of the starting 11, you will know personally one or two, or you will be able to say, my mom went to school with his dad, or something like that. There is this feeling that they are not, somewhere out there or somewhere up there. They're just Icelanders, just like us, and we're in this business together.
We realize that being a few has its downsides and negatives, but it has also some benefits, and this is one of them. You can involve a lot of people, and we've, it's like a big family. And then we have involved the fans. We give them ownership in the team. Everybody has some part of the success. So I think that's the beauty.
I'm not having any doubts about the team, but I don't really care how the results will be. I trust them. I think they will do their best. And if they try their best, I'm going to be very happy, man. Very happy.
A group of people that, because of teamwork, they have gone through hurdles that many thought they couldn't. And I think and I hope that we will be an example for everyone else that nothing is impossible. The thing that will be remembered about this squad of players.